What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to another comic book review video where I say words about a comic I read and you, the magically delicious, listen. It is I, your crazy Nicolas Cage, your steward of Gondor, your genius, billionaire playboy, basic YouTuber philanthropist, SuperCliff, and would you guys be ever so kindly as to smash that like and subscribe button, because every little bit helps in this crazy YouTube world. And today, guys, we are back at it with the God of Thunder, Thor, issue number 16, written by Marvel's Golden Boy, Donny Cates, with the art drawn by Mikel Bandini. And thus, without further ado, let's get thundering. Alrighty, folks, so our story starts off with a nightmare. But this isn't just any typical nightmare that one has on a Tuesday night. This is definitely not the sort of dream where the antagonist of your dream calls you fat and pulls down your pants. Hell no. Rather, this nightmare is the future. A future where Thor, the God of Thunder, receives his ultimate downfall at the hands of Thanos, the Mad Titan. But on top of that, Thanos is wielding Mjolnir, which is imbued with the Infinity Stones. And he's just smacking Thor across the face, to the point where Thor starts to beg, pleading to Thanos, pleading that there has to be another way. But sadly, Thanos doesn't give a damn. And with that, he begins to crush Thor's head, reminding Thor that he's the king of Asgard, and that kings do not beg. Following that awful experience, we pick up with Thor, wide awake in the middle of New York City, where he's walking and having a chat with Jane Foster. And Thor is giving the rundown to Jane with regards to his nightmare, telling her about the Black Winter. Hey, remember that, folks? That feels like years ago. Back when Thor encountered this wide-spreading force of primordial death, he was given a prophecy, a vision of how he was going to die. That being, of course, a hammer-wielding Thanos, leading the armies of the dead. And so upon hearing this is when Jane looks at Thor and is like, dude, you're a dumbass. Because if you saw a vision of Thanos wielding your hammer, and if currently your hammer's enchantment has at the moment stopped working, thereby allowing anyone to just pick it up, then why in the world would you leave it somewhere where literally anyone can just come by and pick it up, aka Earth? You know, a place where Thanos has invaded at least a couple of times. Thus, seeing how incredibly right she is, Thor immediately changes the subject and buys 4 hot dogs. Which, to be fair, you know, I would rather buy some hot dogs than talk about Thanos. But I digress. And while Jane is making fun of Thor for being a dumbass and simply being a fan of hot dogs, trouble begins to erupt. Therefore, our heroes suit up to uphold the laws of justice. And as we pan away down the street, we see the villainous wrecking crew banging shit up with their super-powered strength. And holy crap, are these ruffians causing major property damage. Thus, Jane Foster in her Valkyrie attire and Thor, decked in his polo gear, start bringing the fight to these villains. And of course, this segment is filled with your typical punching, car throwing, and smashing. You name it. Anything that's action-packed is in it. But fortunately, after many entertaining panels featuring both Jane and Thor kicking some major butt, the two of them are able to take out the wrecking crew's main leader, Wrecker, the big guy with the crowbar, which in turn causes Piledriver and Bulldozer to flee from the scene. Afterwards, once things begin to get back to normal, Jane continues to press Thor about why he's talking to her about his problems. Because usually Thor, rather than talking, he would face his problems head on. The Thor that she knew wouldn't run or hide from a scary nightmare. He would face it head on, like a hero, like a God of Thunder. Suddenly, Thor's ravens show up, and they both tell him that he's been summoned by his mother, Freya. Thus, after saying his goodbyes to Jane, Thor is teleported away via the Bifrost over to the singing forest of Vanaheim, the realm in which Freya is from. Now, once Thor arrives, he starts calling out for his mom, but as he continues to walk about, the smell of mead becomes stronger and stronger, to the point where eventually Thor encounters his father, Odin, which causes Thor to become incredibly upset because, you know, remember folks, these two are not on the best of terms of late, especially following Donald Blake's story arc. And so the fact that Odin would use his mother's name in order to lure Thor to him is pretty low. However, before Odin can defend his actions, the two of them are immediately attacked by a giant purple pig monster. Now, despite the two of them fending off this creature together, the pig monster is pretty strong and thus it's causing them a minor challenge. But suddenly the monster's head is cut clean off, spilling forth blood in the process. And as both Odin and Thor are attempting to make sense as to what the hell just happened, both characters are soon met with the arrival of Freya, along with Thor's sister, Angela. And according to Freya, both her and Angela would like to have a friendly chat with Thor. And that, folks, was Thor, issue number 16. And though this issue had moments of fun in it, overall, sadly, this was an okay issue at best. It's obvious that this arc is a stand-in for what's really about to happen come future issues. And I mean, I love Donny Cates. Dude's a terrific writer, but it's really noticeable that Cates is holding back whatever it is that his Thor run has cooking up. And sure, we have one issue left of this mini arc, so, who knows what can happen, but I really wish that we could have spent a lot more downtime with getting a bit more resolution as to why Thor's hammer is acting the way it is. And I know that the issues up to this point have mildly explained this due to Thor being a king, but it just makes it come off a bit too broad. And I think I'm going to need a bit more information to understand why this is the case. Why is Thor's hammer doing this? Because for Thor's hammer to keep doing this, it doesn't make any sense, because if you look at Jason Aaron's King Thor mini, during that entire arc, he's wielding Mjolnir. So I don't know, that sort of debunks that. I just hope, moving forward with this run, we eventually get back on track with the actual plot. Overall, this issue, though it had its moments of fun, it's whatever. And I feel bad saying that because I really think that this has to do more with editorial. But hey, what can you do? Thor issue number 16 gets a 7 out of 10.